Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
My anus is bleeding!
He can't sit down.
They call them dumps, big massive dumps.
Got a flame coming out of his butthole.
Beta male.
Get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
Don't you ever do that. Don't you ever do that. I tell you, don't do it.
Oops.
We're under attack. It is an alien force, not of this world. It's not human intelligence.
Bullshit.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Bullshit.
It's not a salami sandwich.
Disappointed!
Repeat the line.
Disappointed!
How you like that, boy?
No.
Give me a break.
Stop it.
Fired.
Fired! Fired!
Bitch, move it along.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
Just forget about the evidence.
Around the nation, Waldorf Nation. It's Friday. What's up, everybody? We're gonna have a good show. I mean, that's all there is to say about it. All right. So look, we're gonna have more Republican conspiracy theories about Joe Biden getting money. Fun. Again, completely ignoring the fact that politicians, especially former vice presidents and now current presidents, like after he gets out of office, even former presidents, could just go and do speeches and get so much money. So much easy money, you wouldn't believe it. Tremendous amounts of money. The most money you could ever imagine. Okay, anyway. Where the money rushes out to sea because you could never handle it. Okay, I know. Nonetheless, they're really on this Biden bribery thing, except that they cannot seem to find, well, any evidence or any, I guess any evidence, and they can't even keep the story straight. So, $5 million, $10 million, who knows? Tomorrow, or I should say next week, it'll be like $20 million, and by the end of next week, it'll be $10 billion. Who knows? Okay. Anyway, Rudy Giuliani, of course, saying dumb things as well. Then we have parents pretty mad at the right wing for weaponizing children. We've got that story. We have a city in Michigan not being very based and banning Pride, the Pride flag specifically, from public property. So I'm going to rip into that. Religious freedom. Sure. All right. We have that. And then we have a Florida college fighting back against Ron DeSantis. Fun. Good. All right. Or I should say.
Amazing.
All right. Yeah, why don't we do it? Jump into it. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. Very important that you do so, as always. Super chats, gift and subs, all that wonderful stuff, memberships, all encouraged and welcomed and appreciated. So with that said, yesterday, by the way, I just want to give a quick shout out yesterday to Tigwin 2000 for subbing with Prime. So again, it was yesterday. But I didn't get to it. And so I just wanted to thank them over on Twitch. All right. With that, do it. Get out the milk cartons, folks. Because there's somebody missing. Kentucky Representative James Comer is admitting that he has no idea at all where his alleged informant is. And in fact, his informant has been apparently missing for at least the last 3 years. Everybody get out the milk cartons, because James Comer is gonna say, the Biden whistleblower, informant, whoever, no idea.
Look, it mentioned in the FBI form that the oligarch had 17 tapes of Biden, 2 with Joe Biden, accepting the bribe, that he used that as an insurance policy.
This oligarch was a high-ranking member or owner of Burisma?
Yes, that is exactly right. So
have you had any contact with him?
Unfortunately, nobody's had any contact with him for the last 3 years.
Oh, what? Okay. Nobody's had any contact. Oh, that's weird. Now, this is also this L, because that's what it is. Oh, yeah, no, we've got this informant, right? But we just can't get a hold of them. I'm missing for the last 3 years. Don't know where they're at. And they just so happen to have all the evidence that we could need to get. No! Oh, no! Oh, what are we going to do?
Oh, no!
Now, this is also after Comer earlier this week admitted that, once again, a key piece of evidence that they need to go after Biden to get him. Supposed audio tapes of Biden admitting to taking a $5 million bribe might not actually be real, might not actually exist. Once again, oops.
When will you be able to confirm if these recordings are legit? How long is that going to take?
Well, I can confirm that the recordings were in the 1023. Remember, I was with Senator Grassley when we saw the unredacted version.
Okay, so because Grassley was saying alleged yesterday, so these recordings are legit. You can confirm they are legitimate.
Well, they were. I can confirm they were listed in the 1023 that the FBI redacted. We don't know if they're legit or not, but we know that the foreign national claims he has them.
Okay, so when can you confirm that they're legit? Because if they're legit,
I never looked into it. This is the problem. The FBI never investigated this.
Gee, I wonder why the FBI didn't investigate it. Oh, maybe it's because you don't have any evidence. Nothing, not a shred, not a scrap of anything that they could follow up with. Just like, I don't know, this guy said that they have something, but we haven't seen it, we haven't heard anything, and so for all we know, this guy just could be pulling it out of their butt. Well, yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Yeah, they pulled it out of her butt. Okay, so we have an oligarch that is missing, as well as tapes that no one's ever heard. And again, probably don't exist. Boy, this is a rousing success. Well done. Great job. Great use of taxpayer funding. Really dropping the ball on this one. But wait. They do have something else. They've got more allegations, of course. Now, they also alleged that the Biden family had coerced a foreign national to pay them $10 million in bribes. Wait, no. First it was a $5 million bribe, but now it's a $10 million bribe. Citing an unnamed FBI source. I'm sure that source exists as well. So, again, it goes from $5 million to $10 million, which, as I pointed out yesterday, on yesterday's show, that's still a paltry amount of money. For a rich person? No, for me, $5 million. Holy crap. Oh, that'd be amazing. Of course, not if I had to do crime to take it, but because I wouldn't. But at the same time, like, for rich people, $5-10 million, it's like, oh, that's how much I have invested in a particular stock. Because, Congress people can, trade, can trade stocks. They can do stock trading all day, and they seem to always beat the market. Like Nancy Pelosi, who always beat the market. In fact, people would follow her stock trades because she always beat the market. Okay, but anyway, that kind of corruption aside, $5 to $10 million in bribes from foreign nationals to do what the United States was already doing for its policy in Ukraine. Where's the evidence then? Where's the corruption? Where's Where's any of this? Well, it's nowhere. But you see, the goalpost has been moved. See, Comer says, "Oh, it's not really the bribery that's the problem." I mean, oh yeah, of course it's a problem. No, but see, FBI. You see, it's the FBI that didn't investigate because the FBI is weaponized against conservatives. Yes, that's the ticket. Yes, because we hate the FBI now. Wait, what? I mean, they're twisting in on themselves as if they're pretzels. They're pretzeling themselves into trying to find something, anything, to go after Biden on. Anything that they can manufacture, make up. Because, like, when it comes to policy positions, Democrats and Republicans on economic policy issues tend to agree more than they disagree, at least nowadays. More defense spending, for example. Oh, we got to make cuts in, social programs. But we can't make them as deep as Republicans, but we have to give some cuts. Oh, we can't forgive student loan debt. No. We can't continue the student loan debt pause. We can't do that at all. No, we have to agree with Republicans on this. No, we don't. No. So they go after Biden the only way they can, by making up nonsense conspiracy theories and ignoring the actual real corruption when it comes to money in politics. For example, how big corporations and giant donors and donor networks and think tanks give all of this money to politicians, buy them off in order to help cut taxes for the rich and corporations. That's it. Corporate rule. That's what's going on here. But look, once again, it really feels like the Republicans are moving the goalposts because they've got nothing else. I mean, how much more time and money are they going to do? Are they going to waste doing witch hunts? Well, unfortunately, the sky's the limit. They promised endless political investigations. Okay? Endless, pointless political investigations. And boy, howdy, they're actually doing exactly what they promised to do. Instead of actually doing anything to help the average working class person, they do this because, once again, getting back to the corruption, the donors do not want anyone helping working class people. The base, by the way, Republican base, who understandably are also distrustful of politicians and corporations and the wealthy, are too busy getting distracted by this nonsense with these investigations. Republicans in Congress, by the way, while they're distracting working class people, their base too, they're pushing 3 bills to give a total of $28 billion in tax cuts to whom? The top 1%. According to a new analysis of the legislation by the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy, estimated Sunday that the poorest fifth of the American people will receive an average tax cut of just $40 next year under 3 new Republican bills, one of which is titled, quote, Tax Cuts for Working Families Act. Well, the working families get $40. By contrast, and of course these tax cuts are never just for working families. When there's actually things like for example, the tax credit that generally, and I forget the name of it for some reason, there is a specific tax credit that was geared towards working people that Republicans were against because it didn't include tax cuts for rich people. Okay? And that's what it is. It's the earned income tax credit is what it was. Glad I remembered that. So earned income tax credit, Republicans not in favor of anymore. And that's because, again, this does not include tax cuts for the rich. Now, people in the top 1% of the income distribution under these new Republican tax cut plans would see an average tax cut of $16,550 under the new legislation. Of course, the wealthiest 20% of Americans would receive a total of $60.8 billion in tax cuts under the new bills starting next year. Those 3 measures, which the House Ways and Means Committee is set to mark up on Tuesday, would also reward foreign investors to the tune of $23.8 billion next year by cutting business taxes, the ITEP analysis found, pointing to research showing that foreign investors own 40% of stocks in American corporations and would therefore receive a significant share of the benefits from corporate tax cuts. So this is what they're doing, okay? While they're distracting you with this whole whistleblower nonsense, they're really putting their energy behind ways of cutting taxes for the rich. We know the game where they're playing, okay? They're distracting you, the American people, with fake scandals so that they can continue their robbery. All right. Moving on. Let's do it. And then they turn around and scream about the deficit. Yes! Absolutely. Oh, I'm not done with the whistleblower nonsense. There's more. But wait, there's more. As always. Man, sometimes it feels like I'm living in an infomercial. A bad one. Which ones are good? Okay. Former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani is claiming now that a key Biden whistleblower is dead. Okay, so now look, I've been talking about this. Representative James Comer, Chuck Grassley, they both have claimed that, oh no, we've got an FBI document, you see, and we've seen this document, and we want that document released to the public that reports a bribery and money laundering scheme by President Biden and his son Hunter. It's the Biden crime family. Now, the document is actually an FD 1023 form. And so basically it's a form they fill out when they get a tip about somebody, from someone about a possible crime. Like, oh, hey, I think that there is a crime going on. Oh yeah, let me fill out an FD 1023. Wonderful. Okay, great. And again, this could be any sort of crime, anything, whatever that you report to the FBI, and they've got to write it down. They've got to document it. So now the FD 1023 form suggests that there were tapes of this scheme of Joe Biden saying, give me the money, show me the money. Nobody seems to have them, though. No one seems to have the tapes. They don't seem to exist. And Republicans are now like admitting that, they might not actually be real. I mean, the FBI doesn't have them. Giuliani doesn't have them, certainly. Comer and Grassley don't have them. They also don't have a witness. Apparently, that witness has been missing for 3 years. And now Giuliani is going to point out how, we also don't have another person who allegedly had possession of the tapes because they're actually dead.
On a day in which we find out that the Bidens took a $10 million bribe from a Ukrainian, Mykola Zlochevsky, which I could have told you, and did tell them 3 years ago. And they followed up on none of the evidence I gave them. They were hoping the people would disappear or die. It's extraordinary. I gave them one witness that any investigator would jump through hoops to go to. Gave them a witness who is a woman who was the chief accountant at this crooked company, Burisma. She was the wife of the former owner who died under suspicious circumstances. And she was willing to give up all of the offshore bank accounts, including the Bidens.
Oh my God, she was right there. She was an accountant and everything, had all the goods and was there, and was even gonna give up the bank accounts, but then she didn't because I don't know. I mean, Rudy Giuliani doing this interview from his car, weird. And what is it with them doing that, by the way? I see a lot of right-wingers that are just constantly doing interviews from their car. Okay. Anyway, but hey, look at that. boy, that former owner, died under suspicious circumstances. Oh boy, we about to look into that. And now this person is missing. Yes, pretty convenient, isn't it? That apparently this so-called witness is dead, or people connected to her is dead. But see, it's convenient because, well, now we don't have any evidence because it died with them. You see, or we can't. That's why we can't contact them or something. Or maybe it's the same people Hillary Clinton ordered to take out rich. That's probably what it is. Yeah. That conspiracy again. Look, obviously there's a lot of holes in the story, big enough to drive a natural gas tanker truck through. Now, again, he mentioned Mykola Listen, who co-founded Burisma with Zlochevsky. Now, Zlochevsky died all the way back in 2011. Now, here's the thing about this, okay? So, did Giuliani go back in 2011 to look for evidence? Biden? No. There would be no reason to. In 2011, that's before Biden ever went to Ukraine and before Hunter Biden was named to the board of Burisma. So now he dies in a car accident in 2011, again, before any of this stuff happened. And his wife, who was unnamed, somehow dies or disappears in what Giuliani calls a suspicious way, from what I understand. And there's no details. We don't know who she is. Now, has that stopped right-wing outlets from reporting the death? No. Turns out they have. Even Fox News' Sean Hannity did a report on this story. That story immediately got taken down. The report turns out based on fake news. Whoa! Wow, big surprise. Whoa!
Oh no!
Fake news! Wait.
Can't let that happen.
Yeah, I know. So now, an internet cache shows that the source was a site linked to the fake news publisher, thepeoplesvoice.tv. One of the headlines on this website makes the claim that the World Economic Forum will be banning natural births by 2030. Oh, you must all have test tube babies by 2030. There will be no more natural births, banned completely by the World Economic Forum. No, that's not, no. So that's the kind of caliber of news this website is peddling. Wonderful. Now, by the way, the source for the report posted by Sean Hannity, okay, Sean Hannity's team on Fox News, was, of course, Rudy Giuliani. So Rudy Giuliani was the source of this article, which again got passed up all the way to Fox News' Sean Hannity, who then realized, oh, this is a load of crap, and none of it's actually true. Oops. Delete. Backpedal. Again, the report does not say her name, does not say the cause of death. Okay, but there's no, so how could he say that their death was suspicious? Again, the other guy, the husband in 2011 died from a car crash. That's hardly suspicious. People die in car crashes all the time. That's unfortunate. Nothing suspicious about that. Okay? And so, but the article, by the way, did have an icon at the top saying fact check. So it must all be true. So I guess we need to recap here, okay? Because there's a lot of weird crap that's being alleged. The man who had the tapes of Biden died in 2011 in a car crash, 3 years before Biden first went to Ukraine, okay? And 3 years before Hunter Biden was put on the board of Burisma, which would make the timing of him having tapes, because he was dead by the time that this alleged bribery would have happened in the first place. Okay, back when Biden was vice president, and again, before Hunter was even involved in Burisma, again, back before any of this, all right? Then he allegedly left the tapes to his wife. When he died, no one knows her name. No one knows who she is. And then apparently she's dead, mysterious circumstances. But again, there's no listing of who they are because we don't have an identification on who this person is. Yeah, but you know, I mean, this brings me back to my cousin's friend's balls were, you know, had gotten inflated due to the COVID vaccine. That's kind of a similar type of he said, she said, down the chain game of stupid telephone. Okay? I mean, that's all this sounds like. If none of this makes sense, good. Because that's the point. This is perfect conspiracy theory bait. Again, there's just enough in here to keep the right wing interested and chomping at the bit for more, waiting for another one of them. Oh, Q drops. You got any more of them Q drops? Really looking forward to that. Oh, yeah. I'm going to go. I mean, I guess it saves them time from, what was it, examining whether or not their ketchup is woke? As per Charlie Kirk. I mean, again, it's enough to keep them hanging on and interested for more, but not enough to obviously trigger a real investigation. Which is weird because the right wing is actually treating it as if it's a legitimate organization. Or investigation, sorry. And so, I know, the GOP is not exactly a legitimate organization anymore. Wow. Again, this is nothing more than, you know, a baseless right-wing conspiracy. Because unfortunately for them, it's all they have to keep people hanging on. And they have people that are gullible enough, dumb enough to believe it. Choose conclusion, work back selectively. True. 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 Woke ketchup. I kid you not, Changeling DJ, I nearly did a segment on Charlie Kirk going through his refrigerator, talking about going through his refrigerator and finding whether or not he has woke condiments.
Woke.
How can ketchup be woke? I don't understand. All right. Anyway, let's switch gears. Parents in Charlottesville, Virginia are furious over a video that the right wing has been circulating involving children. Their children. Now, you may have, if you're on social media, on Twitter specifically, if you're still there, you may have seen this video floating around. If not, you've had people like Glenn Beck, the Daily Signal, and other conservative outlets posting it, which is basically showing students at a Charlottesville's Johnson Elementary School attending a summer celebration. Now, I'm not going to show you the video because it shows children. And they're in the video, there's no effort to hide their identities. Now, what happened is there was is that this video has a student-led school-wide morning meeting celebrating the end of the school year and the start of summer, start of June. Now, at the assembly, children were reading from ABC Pride, what Charlottesville City Schools described in a statement as an alphabet book about LGBTQ acceptance, which includes words like belonging, gender, and kindness. The right wing sees those words, belonging, gender, and especially kindness, and they think, oh no, grooming! They falsely claimed online that it was a hypersexualized assembly in which children were quote-unquote forced to partake and engaged in grooming for abuse. What? Again, none of that makes any sense. Again, I'm not showing the video because it shows the faces of children, but the right wing had no problem with, showing that video at all, spreading it around and saying, look at the children who are being groomed. And so, again, they say that it's proof of the LGBTQ agenda. The only agenda here, of course, is to promote kindness to each other, which, again, well,
can't let that happen.
Now, the school district said the goal of these morning meetings is to build a stronger and more inclusive learning environment where all students feel safe, welcomed, and respected. Our school division fully supports the Johnson Elementary School leadership in providing time for our students to connect and learn from each other. Again,
can't let that happen.
The district also said the video that shows the children's faces violated school policy and possibly the law. News and information concerning school events, personnel, students, and programs is released to the media only with approval of the principal or superintendent and in accordance with state and federal laws regarding confidentiality, said district spokeswoman Beth Chayok. Whoever sent this video to the media did so without permission from the superintendent or principal, which is a violation of our policy. So again, they were showing the children, but then falsely using the children to attack the LGBTQI plus community, claiming that, again, oh, that's what they're doing to your kids. They're grooming them. You see, they're sexualizing them. Now, parents were not happy about this. One mother, Meredith Powell, whose child attends the school, said, quote, "It was upsetting to know that the video was taken. It just seems like common sense that you don't take video of other people's children. You just never know what situations are with different families and what families need protection from exposure like that." Yeah, again, you are endangering children. You are getting them involved in something that they shouldn't be involved, which is, again, a civil rights issue. Okay. Now, other Johnson parents online were also supportive of the event and were concerned that images of their children were being circulated online without their permission. Again, seems rather creepy that you are spreading around pictures of children on the right wing. I thought the right claimed to want to protect the children. Well, we know that's not the case. No, they're doing everything they can in their power to harm children, especially ones who are LGBTQ. Using kids to go after marginalized people is actually probably one of the lowest things that you can do. Not only are, again, you hurting marginalized people, but you're also protecting actual predators, the ones who are preying on your children, and teaching children to hate others for differences. Now, they also doing this to attempt to indoctrinate children into that type of hatred as well. Because remember, people are not born hateful, bigoted, racist, or any of that stuff. That is all taught to people. And what the right wing now, today, wants to do is to teach children that that kind of hate is okay. That you should hold this hate in your heart and not accept people for who they are, as long as it's certain kinds of people. And I just happen to think that is absolutely wrong and completely and utterly abhorrent. And I'm glad that parents are irritated about this as well. Okay. They do hate kindness. Oh, yeah. This is a rare Michigan L that's happening. A Detroit suburb has recently banned pride flags from flying on public property. Now, this happened in the city of Hamtramck, Michigan, where the city council had voted unanimously against the pride flag, and they were citing religious freedom. So now, of course, whenever they talk about religious freedom, what do they mean? I always want to ask them, what freedom is that exactly? What freedom do you have to discriminate against other people and stop them from celebrating their civil rights? Now, the Detroit Free Press had reported that council members had argued that while LGBTQ plus people are welcome in their city, well, how magnanimous of you. It's not as if that you could stop them from actually coming into the city. They said that flying the pride flag would disrespect the religious freedom of others. How so? I mean, that doesn't seem like, like a good reason to me to ban the pride flag, especially since we're a secular country. Now, here's what's interesting, right? So Hamtramck is there's a lot of immigrants in this area, in this suburb. Now, the majority of the board are Muslim. So, in fact, the entire Hamtramck City Council is Muslim. 50% of the city residents are Muslim. But I tend to look at them as American first and foremost, which means they have to follow the Constitution. And following the Constitution means, of course, respecting people's First Amendment rights to free speech. So now, free speech, of course, guaranteed by the government. Pride, that's freedom. That's free speech. That's equality under the 14th Amendment. And their religious freedom, their ability to practice their own religion in their own time, in their own home, well, that's not being infringed by this flag being flown on public property. And so there's no violation of anyone's religious freedom here, but apparently it violates their sensibilities or something. Now, the thing that I think about it is, look, if putting up a pride flag is violating your free exercise of religion, then, well, what exactly does that say about your free exercise? You think that promoting bigotry is part of your religion. That's your free exercise. Well, I would disagree with that. I don't think that's the argument you're going to want to go with. I don't think you want to die on this hill. But that's the argument that they made. In fact, Councilman Naeem Shaderi says, we want to respect the religious rights of our citizens. And said to the gay community, quote, you guys are welcome, but why do you have the flag shown on government property to be represented? Why do you have to have the flag? Well, continues by saying, you're already represented. We already know who you are. By making this about bigotry, it's making it like you want to hate us. So wait a minute. You're banning the pride flag from public property and then turning around and claiming that you are the victim here. Weird. Look, this is bigotry, though. That's what it is. Pure and simple. The only reason that you would want to ban a pride flag based on your religion is if you believe that your religion thinks it's okay to hate gay people, that it actually is a part of your religion, what makes you, in this case, a Muslim, but this applies to, any religion that's against, same-sex couples and the LGBTQI, community itself, like fundamentalist Christians, for example. If you think that that's part of an innate part of your religion to hate other people, I don't think that's a good thing. I think it's a bad thing. You might want to step back and re-examine your beliefs. Because honestly, you're saying that that your religion wants you to hate gay people. Now, I'm not saying that anti-gay sentiment isn't in the Bible. Of course it is. It's in the Bible. It's also in the Quran. But I feel like I need to remind you that I think a lot of the reason that it's in these books, the Abrahamic religion specifically, is because these leaders, the leaders of the religion at the time, they discouraged same-sex relationships because they needed babies to grow up and become soldiers. That's really what it was about. And by the way, both the Quran and the Bible mention as a reason for hating gay people Sodom and Gomorrah. Oh yeah, well obviously it's we can't allow homosexuality and sodomy or anything like that because God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah as a result. No. Turns out if you really look into the story, the real sin wasn't being gay. It was actually about being disrespectful and rude to the visitors, the messengers, or the angels, right? So the angels were, guests of Lot. So he invited them in their house, and there's a crowd that gathered outside, and they're like, "Hey, give us your guests so we can rape them." Lot says, "No, you can't sit there and rape my guests. Here, have my daughter instead." Look, there's nobody in this story that isn't a raging a-hole. Let's be clear about this, okay? Bible, terrible in parts. Quran, also terrible in parts. There's good things in those books that you can pick out. And I prefer that people do that. But anyway, none of that should matter because we're not a religious country. The government is supposed to be secular. Government officials are supposed to be secular. Okay? In their personal beliefs, they can be as religious as they want. They can go to church. They can go, pray towards Mecca. It doesn't matter. But when it comes to serving the community that they're elected to, they have to make decisions based on what's good for everyone, the law and the Constitution. So now, when it comes to pride, obviously pride is not a religion. Pride is saying we're fine with who you are. And we are celebrating your your fight for civil rights. That's what pride's about. It's about celebrating civil rights and basically the fight for the LGBTQI plus community to gain civil rights and acceptance in society. That's really it. That's what it's there for. It's to celebrate this. And the fact that people hate the pride flag, is they hate what it stands for. They do not want to accept them. They want to discriminate them against them in some way. Now, as I mentioned, they're making themselves victims here. Another example is Mayor Pro Tem Mohammed Hassan, who went further, saying, quote, "You guys are the ones making problems." And of course, he was speaking to the people who were standing up for LGBTQIA plus rights. Quote, "Please don't threaten us. I'm the elected official. I'm working for the people. What the majority of the people like." Except Hamtramck, according to the Free Press, they had a public comment period, and the vast majority of the comments actually opposed a resolution calling it outdated and bigoted. Oops. One student, by the way, had said, the policy may violate state law and will leave trans students at risk of being disowned, kicked out, and even harmed. Others have spoken out. Democratic State Senator Stephanie Chang, whose district includes Hamtramck, released a statement after the ban saying, "To LGBTQ plus community members and their families, please know that you have many allies throughout the city and state, and that includes me as your state senator. You are loved, you are welcomed, and you are valued." Hamtramck has a long history of being a place of hope and opportunity for people of all backgrounds. Oakland County, which is near Wayne County, Executive David Coulter posted a tweet with a link to a story about the council's vote that said, quote, "You're welcome here." Haley Kane of Hamtramck says the resolution, quote, "sends a clear message of discrimination." Kane said that she moved from California to the city because I knew it was a diverse community, but now I'm questioning whether it is. I don't want to live in a place like this. The pride flag represents making a space for all humans on all the spectrums, and this is where we're going as a human species. You can't stop that. So again, this is a diverse city, lots of immigrants, lots of art, and yes, more LGBTQ plus people that are going into these places. And I think, unfortunately, whenever you have places where there's lots of diversity, you have growing pains. Okay? You're going to have people that are conservative that push back against it, that are afraid of change, that are afraid of diversity. New ways of thinking, different people. And ultimately, though, I think that at the end of the day, progress will win out. But it sucks so far to see the city take a step backwards, when in reality, it should be more accepting of people who are different. Again, Muslims. So again, this is there's a lot of Muslims in the city, and they've been unfairly attacked in this country for a long time now, especially since 9/11. I've defended them against right-wingers, calling them terrorists. And look, I know that, the majority of them, I don't think they're bigots either. Okay. But there are loud, ultra-conservative Islamic fundamentalists, obviously, and they're the same as the Christian fundamentalists who push this kind of just nonsense, this bigoted, hateful crap. The whole point of having Pride and normalizing LGBTQI plus people in society is to change that and to show people that there's actually nothing to be afraid of. Different people being themselves, being who they are and living their truth is not going to harm you. It's not going to cause the destruction of Western civilization or America or your city, whatever. No, it's not going to do any of that. And that these people are they're okay. They're just people. Let them live their lives and leave them alone. And that's it. All right. Fundamentalism is similar no matter which kind of fundamentalism, so it seems. True. Very true. Okay. Moving on. Former Democrat, now Republican, Representative Tricia Cotham, who had switched parties back in April to help Republicans pass a draconian abortion ban in North Carolina, is now doing a little bit of revisionist history when it comes to her own abortion. So now, again, she was back when she was a pro-choice Democrat and had, defended the women being able to get abortions, reproductive rights. In fact, she had promised to codify reproductive rights after the end of Roe v. Wade. Now she's lying about her abortion, but let's get to back in 2015, right? Now, in 2015, she spoke out against making patients wait 72 hours before they can get an abortion and cited her own experience in getting one. She said, quote, "My first pregnancy ended in an induced physician-assisted miscarriage while I served in this chamber. Abortion is a deeply personal decision. It should not be a political debate. My womb and my uterus is not up for your political grab." That was 2015. Well, again, that was then, this is now. Here's her statement recently in a weekend radio interview while at the North Carolina Republican Party convention. Quote, "I had a miscarriage, and a miscarriage in medical terms is called a spontaneous abortion. And instead of saying, first of all, they should not be talking about my miscarriage, you talked about it. That is just very painful and wrong, but they are repeating this message that I had an abortion, and that is false, and that is completely frustrating, and they keep on doing it, and that's below the belt." Wait, in 2015, you're the one who brought it up. You're the one who started talking about that and saying it's a deeply personal decision and no one should be politicizing this. And then comes out and says, how dare you talk about the thing that I talked about openly and publicly? Oh, you're hitting me below the belt. No, nobody should care that you're getting an abortion. The issue here is the hypocrisy and her out there here saying and helping Republicans stop women from making a very personal decision to get an abortion. So now she then also, as you notice, got into a little bit of a medical terminology fight, right? She said, well, it was a spontaneous abortion, but it was a miscarriage. It was a miscarriage. How dare you call it an abortion? Now, according to the NIH, spontaneous abortion is the loss of pregnancy naturally before 20 weeks of gestation. Okay? So, yes, in the medical community, if you naturally have a miscarriage, it's considered and also called a spontaneous abortion. Okay? Colloquially, spontaneous abortion is referred to as a miscarriage to avoid the association with induced abortion, but in reality, they're actually the same thing. Look, this is a common talking point among the right wing And they're doing this to portray medically assisted miscarriage and abortion as different things, when in reality they are the same thing. They're treated the same way. Now, if a miscarriage does not happen naturally, with the embryo passing on its own, then you have to have medical intervention, either in the form of surgical or pills, right? Either a healthcare provider will give the patient medication to induce the miscarriage and expel the fetus, or a doctor will dilate the patient's cervix and remove the fetal tissue. So that's a D&C, a dilation and cutterage. In the case of medication, you had mifepristone followed by misoprostol, or you could just have misoprostol alone in order to, again, induce that miscarriage. What she's doing is taking this medical terminology and exploiting ignorance about miscarriage versus abortion, and basically trying to weaponize it in order to justify her now being in favor of abortion bans when she used to be in favor of reproductive rights. Okay? So now, look, both of these happen during the same time in a pregnancy, which is early on. You know, a what we consider to be a miscarriage, as well as abortion. Both are incredibly difficult things to go through and should not be politicized, but that's exactly what she's doing. Cotham is taking advantage of this to push her own justification for leaving her party. Cotham had switched back in April. Two of her former aides had described that decision as, quote-unquote, deeply petty and personal. So that's where it gets to the gross part, okay? So it's not about policy. It was about personal grievance. Autumn Alston, an activist who canvassed for Cotham's last two campaigns when she was a Democrat, told Jezebel that the lawmaker had felt underappreciated and ignored by the left, and especially abortion advocacy groups. Oh, how dare Emily List not be kissing my ass? Oh, I stood up. I made a public speech about abortion. Why are they not supporting me enough? Why am I underappreciated? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be a Republican. Then we'll see. We'll see who gets the last laugh. You'll be missing me after this one. You'll rue the day that you didn't give me the attention that I craved. Again, sounds completely petty. Cotham switching, unfortunately, led to Republicans getting a supermajority in the legislature, and she ended up, of course, getting a lot of attention, to which Alston said, quote, that was her, oh, well, not quote here. I'll give you the quote. But basically said that this was her way to get attention, to be the new shiny object in the Republican Party, quote unquote. Alston, who said who advised Cotham as well. So, yeah, now she's got a lot of attention. Now she's got, she's a hero to the Republican Party and the so-called pro-life movement. Oh, look, she's getting so much attention now. Hope it was worth it. Because, again, there's a 12-week draconian abortion ban now in North Carolina as a result of Cotham switching over. So, well done on that one. She also allowed Democratic Governor Roy Cooper's veto to be overturned on the measure. And so if you are in North Carolina and you lost reproductive rights, well, not only should you blame Republicans, but you can also look at her, at Cotham, and say, thanks. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Look, people, honestly, they do pretty awful things for power. And we've seen this happen before. We've seen people be complete and utter hypocrites on this issue and many other issues. Again, stories of people who go into the abortion clinic, they get the procedure done, have an abortion, and then as soon as they're out the door, they go grab a sign and join the picket line and say, you know, and then call the next woman that goes in to the building, who might not even be getting an abortion, a baby murderer. We see it happen. What can you do but try to call them out on their lies and correct the record? Not much else. Okay. One last story, and we're going to leave off on a good note here. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has taken another L after a Florida College Board has rejected his demands for censorship. Now, the College Board on Thursday said that it will not remove teachings on sexual orientation and gender identity from its advanced placement programs. The board issued its decision, in response to a letter from the Florida Department of Education in May, demanding a review of all AP courses to ensure compliance with state law. That request came at the same time Governor Ron DeSantis vowed to remove African American studies from state public schools. The College Board denounced that plan and added context and clarity to those courses, which again, a lot of people were angry about, obviously, and for good reason. Now, the department has ordered another review to assure that all AP courses, including pre-AP, complied with Florida's law banning instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity as a result of the so-called Don't Say Gay law. Now, the board responded to the order saying, quote, "We will not modify our courses to accommodate restrictions on teaching essential college-level topics." So understand, we're not talking about children. We're not talking about K through 12. And the reason I bring that up is because that was the justification for this at first. Okay, Republicans always start out by talking about, we're just doing it to protect the children. No, we're just protecting the children. When in reality, as soon as they ban it for K through 12, they then move on to ban things for adults. We've seen that in several states with gender-affirming care, banning it for minors, and then discussing and even in some cases putting forward legislation to ban it for adults as well. That's how it starts. They literally weaponize children to use against marginalized communities. But anyway, now, we're talking about, again, 18-year-old adults who pay for a college education that are no longer going to be allowed by the government to get a portion of that education. Well, that sounds like censorship to me. Doesn't sound like freedom. It sounds like indoctrination. Weird. No, it also doesn't sound like, free speech or the marketplace of ideas. In fact, at the marketplace of ideas, conservative ideas, rather cheap, don't go for much. Not worth a whole lot. And we can see why. Now, the American Psychology Association had issued a statement in support of the College Board on Thursday after the decision. Understanding human sexuality is fundamental to psychology, and an advanced placement course that excludes the decades of science studying sexual orientation and gender identity would deprive students of knowledge they will need to succeed in their studies in high school and beyond. Arthur C. Evans Jr., CEO of the APA, said in a statement, "We applaud the College Board for standing up to the state of Florida and its unconscionable demand to censor an educational curriculum and tests that were designed by college faculty and experienced AP teachers who ensure that the course and exam reflect the state of the science and college-level expectations." Evans said that educators cannot teach psychology while excluding entire groups of people from the curriculum, and correctly called the law signed by DeSantis, quote, "another attempt to erase LGBTQ plus people." Well, again, correct. Understand that what DeSantis is doing is that he is leading a war against groups of people literally existing. And of course, he is going against facts, science, and reality in that war. Why? Well, that's in order to get the support of reactionaries. That's it. And that's what it's been about. Marginalizing people, discriminating against people in order to get political power. Now, DeSantis has also been pandering to racists as well. In fact, last week, DeSantis promised to rename Fort Liberty, yes, Fort Liberty, after a Confederate general named Braxton Bragg, who was a slave owner that fought against the United States of America. So he is replacing Liberty, Fort Liberty, with a traitor, with Fort Treason, basically. That's what it is. You're going from Fort Liberty to Fort Treason. Ron DeSantis. Not only that, but he also this week vetoed spending for a Black History Month celebration in Orlando and cut $200,000 for a festival celebrating Florida's Black music legacy. And last year, DeSantis vetoed a $1 million appropriation for Valencia College to create a film about the 1920 Ochiee Election Day massacre, in which a white mob murdered dozens of Black Floridians. So you see what he's doing, and he's erasing history and is celebrating literal traitors to the country. That's what's going on here. Okay? This is who he is. Not only is he destroying the state of Florida when it comes to business, when it comes to everything else, but, you know, he's also trying to harm a generation of young people and attempting to keep them ignorant of reality. Look, I'm glad people are fighting back, but right now, the whole Florida government is owned by him and his cronies, and until that changes, I'm thinking that the situation in Florida is going to get worse before it gets better, if it ever gets better. So there it is. Okay.
Florida's ground zero for the nursing home. I mean, we're God's waiting room.
Okay. So, yeah, that's it. Florida's Biden is worth $9 million. How? Try being a senator for what? 20 freaking years and vice president. Yeah, you make a lot of money. You get a congressional salary, and then I don't know, you get a bunch of speaking engagements that you can make tons and tons of money off of. If you were vice president or just a senator from MBNA, which is another name, right? Because of how much he has taken from the credit card industry in his career in the Senate, how can you do that and not come out to be worth millions of dollars? You would have to be either an idiot, right? Or someone who is not morally compromised. Because there's money everywhere in serving. Yes, most of the people in the Senate are millionaires. And by the way, the same people who are like, oh, how could Joe Biden be worth millions of dollars, are the same ones that criticize Bernie Sanders for having millions of dollars, by the way, for selling a book. He wrote 2 books, and they sold really, really well. That's one honest way that you can make money. And then there are dishonest ways, like, I don't know, using your position to do insider trading from congressional stocks. Come on, you people cannot be that ignorant of how people in power can make so much money. They don't have to take illegal bribes when bribery in this country is legal through our system of corporate donations and all the different legal ways that you can make money, again, from congressional stock trades. You can't be that stupid. Open your eyes. Get woke. Wake up. There's corruption everywhere. Come on. Come on. I just get so tired. I get so tired, man. All right. And yes, we should absolutely ban congressional stock trades, and we should get all the corporate money out of politics, corporate big donor money. I don't care where it comes from, right or left, union, corporate, doesn't matter. Get it all out. Publicly finance it all. And yes, enforce some sort of fairness doctrine when it comes to covering different candidates, giving them all equal time to make their case to the American people. That is the only way to get back to some semblance of, actually serving the people, of which they do not. Okay. Alrighty. That's it for the show, by the way. Let me read some super chats here. Star Carpenter says, Happy Pride Month, folks. Well, Happy Pride Month to you as well. And to all of you out there watching. Marty Darno, with a very kind $10, says, after 9 years of toil in the U.S. on a student visa, I'm finally getting a work visa next month. Hey, congratulations. That's awesome. That's awesome. And thank you again for the support. Finally breaking even. Thank you and love you for the support. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Let's see. Go over here to our Twitch community. Thank you for the new follows. Mr. To the W and Symphonies. That's it. Yeah. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thank you all again for the very kind super chats and all this stuff. Appreciate that. Again, have a fantastic weekend. Love you all. And remember, change begins with you. Good night, nation. We'll see you on Monday.
There's insanity in the control room.
Who's got a hammer?
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
I'm not working on McDonald's money.
Oh yeah.
Just forget about the oven.
You're kicking me out the door. You're kicking me out the door.
Obama. People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, where the water rushes out to sea because you could never handle it.
You idiot.